Hey, it's Rich McLean. My sister Jodie Bongetti and Brad McLean have utterly rejected me. The reasons for this are not clear, but it's clear of one thing. They're kind of homophobic, and they're people that have elongated my suffering by siding with the hospital and the Health Complaints Commissioner, Mental Health Complaints Commissioner, the police, IBAC, and the Ombudsman even, in covering up the fatal injury that was my suicide attempt, of which I was revived and now have a cognitive brain impairment. In addition, they have sided with Steve Isonides. This whole silence around the relationship in which we're together, and that he exploited me over 5 years and owes me a fair, equal, legal settlement. And as my family, they've refused to intervene. I bet if Jodie Bongetti broke up with Dave Bongetti, there'd be a settlement and there'd be an equitable separation of finances. Jodie Bongetti and Brad McLean can probably answer the question why the world's forsaken me and this conspiracy exists. Because as family members, you would think they would act for me when serious harm has happened to me, when a conspiracy to pervert the course of justice is absolutely happening, and I'm being profoundly victimised by the Australian government. They fear that if they stick up for me, they will suffer reputationally, or that they'll suffer recourse as being seen to stick up for me, or they're fearful of reprisal from their government overlords. My brother Brad McLean and Jodie McLean have jobs, have partners, are in the community, they're working, all that stuff, amazingly privileged compared to me, who's a victimised scapegoat, has literally been murdered and then that murder covered up, not only by them, but others and everyone else. And they enjoy privileges that I as a scapegoat don't have. So if you're wondering why no one will acknowledge me, or I am a scapegoat, or that I live under death threats and that I have no rights or equality before the law, which is actually opposing the Charter of Human Rights of a person with a disability, which says that I must have access to the law and equality before the law, and that theme underpins all laws in Australian society. If you're wondering why that is, you can look no further than ask Jodie McLean or Jodie Bongetti and Brad McLean. And then my parents, which do the bare minimum to care for me and protect me even getting into contact with Jodie and Brad. And even my rich uncle, Bruce McMaster, he's a multimillionaire and he refuses to acknowledge me or help me. And he actually said to me that you'll never get a settlement with Steve. And so far, that's proven true. But I asked all those three peoples to please urgently intervene the other day because I'm at risk of literally being persecuted to death. And that should have rang alarm bells because I've literally already committed suicide in February 2021 and it was deemed fatal and I was revived. It's clear that there's an existential risk to me, apart from the death threats of killing me and my dog, but the fact that I could be abused to death and the reduction of my prosperity, which is systemic and political, has continued, and they've witnessed this. They've all witnessed me being robbed so much. I've been squatting, I've been homeless, and they've all absolutely witnessed a profound victimisation of me, which exploits me for being mentally ill, to the exclusion of all other factors. I'm not going to survive this world if I don't have equality before the law, if I'm not involved in society, if I'm a targeted person of interest, and if I'm profoundly opposed by a cast of thousands to the detriment of me, and all these public officials, lawyers and officials are diametrically opposed to me. I haven't got a job. I am trying. I haven't got rights. I'm trying. I haven't got equality before the law. I'm trying. I haven't got my friends and family. And I've tried. I've really tried to reach out to them. So I'm going to die. Jodie Bongetti, Brad McLean, Bruce McMaster, April McLean, Doug McLean, it's within all your remits, surely, as a family member, to oppose this victimisation which is happening to me, which has seen me locked out of the law and legal assistance, which has seen me lose literally multi-millions of dollars, probably about $10 million at this stage, at least, and that a provable conspiracy to pervert the course of justice is and has been occurring, and that my own family members are in on it, and they abuse me too, because they're not just ignoring me like you would ignore any person. They're pointedly neglecting me because I've pointed out my injustice to them so many times, and they continue to carry the torch of my oppression, pointedly neglect me, and cause me harm. So I'm not going to survive. Here's your chance to save a life. And here's also your chance to redeem your reputations, because ultimately, if I live or die, this video will be out there, and your roles that you played in defending me and actually being a legitimate good human as a family member is up for judgment. So here's your chance. Save your reputations, save your brother and son and nephew, and help me. This message is going to Bruce McMaster, April McLean, Doug McLean, Jodie McLean, and Jodie Bongetti, and Brad McLean. I'll accept nothing less. This is shit for me. And I think you're all shit people for not doing more, not only ignoring me, but pointedly neglecting me. And here's your chance to save a life. And I'll even take this video down if you help me. Otherwise, if I live, it's still out there. And if I die, then you'll be indicted in the coroner's report.